Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Zanzarah. I'm Mark91, and last time we got to Zanzarah and got Rufus's house key, so we can go to his house and go select our first fairy. But first we're going to pay a quick visit to the shop, where there's a pixie roaming around. And a forest elf scared one. They're like mice in a way. Okay. I hate pixies. Until this creature stops rampaging in my shop, I won't sell any magic items. Yeah, you're high and dry up there. Okay, a small healing potion that heals 20 life points, and a mana potion. This restores all mana, which is the energy which fairies use to attack with, to use their attacks with. If a fairy runs out of mana, they start using their life force to attack, so that's not a good thing. But now let's go to Rufus's house. Keys are automatically used like this, so there's no looking through the inventory. Okay, and here are the three fairies, a rune, and a little chest behind there. I'll go through the fairies by their type. Okay, this is Celia, a nature fairy. Nature fairies are frequently to be found in these parts. Their powers are evenly distributed. They are agile and capable of performing powerful magic. The nature fairy will prepare you well for future fights. Yeah, nature fairies are one of the two most common types of fairies. They're balanced, of course, although they tend to have higher HP. The spells they cast are fast. Well, they can charge their spells fast, but they do low damage. But they have some passive spells, which are they mostly have passive spells which are very defensive, so they'll last longer than you think. Next up is Tadana, the water fairy. A particularly rare and valuable fairy. Beginners find it especially hard to catch water fairies. However, the strength of such fairies may vary greatly depending on the opponent. This can lead to tricky duels. Yeah, this is just asking you, are you really sure you want this one? Because you can just pick one. Let's see, I've got some notes. Water fairies, very rare. You can only find them in water streams, except for this one and another one. And you can't, well, even if you find a water stream, you won't find any water fairies until you've acquired a specific item. Let's see. Mostly, water fairies mostly concentrate on the...
Hello.
Yeah, shut up, Amy. Yeah, water fairies specialize in defense and direct damage. They cast fast spells, which critical hits deal a lot of, can deal a lot of extra damage, which isn't affected by any defense or type advantage or disadvantage. Useful type, which is why I'm getting one, but not this specific one. And then there's Graham, the stone fairy. They're good-natured and friendly, though maybe a little listless. They can take a lot of damage in a fight, but they're not as agile as other fairies. A dependable companion. Stone fairies, in short, well, they're slow, as are their attacks. But their attacks are powerful, and they are durable. But at a certain point, they tend to lose their type. Well, there aren't a lot of types. They don't have a lot of type advantages there. But I am taking this one. Why? Well, I can easily get a Tadana shortly, right practically after this village. And Celia is a common fairy, and there are better nature fairies. In fact, through its evolution, there is evolution in this game, and Celia's second form, Vitaria, is stronger than its last form, Bonaria. So yeah, and this over here is the Rune of Return. There's a special magic in this room. It always returns the owner back to their place of birth. That will return us back to London, which sort of implies that Amy was homeborn. I could go into some discussion about that, but I won't at the moment. And this little casket contains some healing potions. Okay, now to get Graham. Another reason I'm getting Graham is because there only appears to be one place where they appear, and then even still they're very rare. Okay, Grams are beings which can mainly be found in stone deserts, but also in big rocks in Zanzarah. These strong beings are cowardly at first, but their courage grows with their success. Yeah, I won't use Gram. I probably won't use Gram for the entire game, but he'll be useful. And I do plan to make a sort of fairy list at the end of the project. And this here is Lucius. If I may introduce myself, I am Lucius, guardian of pixies. I'm guarding this exit to prevent any pixies from passing. They would wreak havoc everywhere. You can help me fight the pixie plague with your fairy, but don't you visit me at the other end of the garden. I will give you a magic bag to catch the pixies with. This is the start of a side quest which will get us quite a lot of items. Well, will get us items. Do you know how to fight with fairies? For the sake of you all understanding, I'll say no. You can carry 5 fairies at the same time in your fairy bag. If you are attacked, the fairies will fight for you. You need to learn how to use the strengths of your active fairy in combat. The active fairy is the one following you. Similar to how Pikachu follows you in Pokemon Yellow, and your your first Pokemon he follows you in Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Any fairy can fly as long as it has sufficient energy, health. In battle you can see their flying energy as a green bar. Luckily this flying energy is renewed after a certain time. Nevertheless you still need to use it wisely, because if you fall off the arena too far, you will die. Your fairy will die. Or get defeated, to say it better. You can attack with offensive spells. Every spell is dependent on time. The longer you charge it, the stronger your spell will be, but don't overdo it or the spell will return against your own fairy. So don't charge it too long or it'll blow up in your face. Passive spells support your fairy. They protect it from damage, strengthen its attack, or help you in some other way. Like moving speed and such, healing. There's a lot about it. You can purchase spells for fairy coins if you meet a magic merchant. These magic merchants are dubious profiteers, but you will need their help to strengthen your fairies. You can meet one of them at my cottage. Your fairy's life energy is indicated by the red bar. If your fairy has been defeated, you can heal it with potions and herbs. Shall I explain these basic rules? No? Well, then I'll get the collecting bag and we'll meet at the other end of the garden. If you have trouble finding my house, take a look on this at this map. It's not quite complete, but it should be sufficient for the fairy garden. And with that, he goes off. That fairy following him, that's a Vitaria. I plan to fit in pictures and possibly even graphs showing each fairy's portraits and their statistics. Map of the fairy garden. This opens up the map screen. The exclamation mark shows where you should go. But the map isn't really, well, it is good, but it doesn't show the precise way. There's another owl over here. Okay, you're entering the lovely fairy garden. It's a place full of colors, scents, and sounds. Careful though, many of the larger trees and stones are the homes of wild fairies. These fairies enjoy attacking travelers like you just to annoy them. You can fight them off using your own fairies. If your fairies are weakened by magic duels, avoid these trees and other conspicuous places. That way you may get by without a fight. Yeah, this could be considered the tall grass from the Pokemon series. This tree, for example, and that tree over there. If you get too close to it, a wild fairy might pop out. There's already 2 pixies over here. There's probably going to be jump one out fairy right out here. No. Fairies can appear from a lot of places. Okay. I've never seen a human before, let alone one with a fairy. Come on, let's see whose fairy's best. If you win, I'll give you a valuable item. And this is our first fairy duel. Fairies poof off, and they appear on well, they appear here and then in one of the many arenas. This is War God, a simple nature fairy, as is Cilia over here. As you can see, they're pretty well designed, and it seems to lag a bit when I switch to fairies, so that might be a bad idea to do. Okay, it shows the spells the fairy has equipped, and both sets. You can have 2 sets of spells. One 2 offensive, one and 2 offensive, 2 passive. Okay, this is, it feels kind of weird to play like this, but it should work. Okay, you can probably guess what's what. The little symbol to the left, that's my offensive spells. My offensive spell. The number is the amount of attacks I have left, the mana. The green and red bar have already been explained. The bar in the top middle, that shows the enemy's fairies. The black square in the right, that's where my passive spells should be. The 1 and 2 are for the sets. You can't flee from fairy duels, by the way, with other people, other trainers. Okay, leveling up. Yeah, LP is for life points, jump is for flying capability, and some others I'll cover later. Your skill is surprising. They can take this mana potion. You can use it to recharge your fairy's magic energy. You'd better check whether your fairy still has sufficient mana. If its energy is used up, it'll automatically use up its life essence, which is not very good for it. And with that he leaves, and he gives us 2 instead of 1. Okay, continue on, and you see that elf over there with the blue fairy floating behind her? That's a Tadana. And by the way, coins you pick up everywhere are randomized. You may think you're picking up 1 coin, but instead it could be 4 or 7. I'll do that later because this is a small side quest, not really even a side quest, but it involves quite a powerful fairy. So I'll do that on the way back, which will probably be the next video, because I'm coming up to the time limit. And there's our first wild fairy, a core god level 3. I'll go deal with this guy, but I'll end off the video right here. I'll try to avoid wild battles as much as I can, and level off screen most of the time. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time after I've dealt with this little pest, and we continue on in the fairy garden. But until then, have a nice day and goodbye.